Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this particular video topic that a particular fan sent. He was very polite. He definitely shared of his spirit with us as well. So I want to send a shout out to Morocco first and foremost in this particular episode on 13 Signs Astrology.com/YouTube channel will be dedicated to my brother in Morocco. He wants to know more about the Merkaba field, and that's definitely or the Merkaba is what it's actually called, the Merkaba. But I'm going to go into how it's actually kind of like a life field or like a connection that you would have to have with not only your higher self, but with, I guess you can say, a hierarchy of entities in order for you to really access the information about the Merkaba. Now, this information is not made up. The Merkaba is definitely something that's talked about in occult circles. For those of you that may be new to the topic, the Merkaba is actually a living field, is what it is. It's a living field, and when you the Merkaba, see, people get the Merkaba confused, kind of like with Kundalini or opening your third eye, and they think that when your Kundalini is activated or when you open your third eye, that's kind of like the same thing as the Merkaba, but it's not. It's not just because your third eye is open. What I'm saying is that just because your third eye is open or you've activated your Kundalini, this does not mean in no way, shape, form, or fashion that your Merkaba is activated. The Merkaba is a lot more advanced than the third eye and even understanding the Kundalini because, see, the Kundalini, we can have Kundalini experiences all the time, like even when we're unconscious, like just regular people have Kundalini experiences. So when I talk about those things, people can resonate with those things. Like most of you have sex, you've had a Kundalini experience, one or two. I'm sure if you've having sex, just anybody's having sex. That's the easiest way to experience it. That's why I use that for an example. But there's other ways too to experience it when you know, say for instance, you may go to church and when you feel elated when the pastor is playing music and it stirs your emotions, you just feel so emotional, so happy, and so excited and free. That's the Kundalini too. That's another aspect of Kundalini, like when you cry tears of joy. Um, but the third eye, of course, we know what that is. Most people reference the third eye because they know that in certain cultures they put a red dot, like in the Hindu culture, they put a red dot over their forehead to represent the third eye. Um, Many people know about the third eye because in ancient Kemet they show pictures of snakes coming out of your forehead. That's supposed to represent the third eye. So many people know about the third eye. We know that exists, and many people have had third eye moments when you may have had a moment of prophecy. You may have dreamt about something before it happened. That's a third eye moment. So anytime you experience, that's something you can experience without even having it consciously activated. But don't get me wrong, when you consciously activate those things, it will you'll begin to have those experiences more, and you'll be able to control them and deliberately have those experiences. That's the only difference. When I talk about, well, do you want to open your third eye or do you want to keep it closed? And see, when you work with your third eye, you'll learn how to keep it activated but have it closed. You can do that as well. So like you can have your third eye buzzing, activated, it's active, but at the same time you want to close it, meaning that you don't want to exchange energy with the world you're interfacing, or you don't want to see the visions of the third eye at this time. So you can actively shut it down, but it'll still be active, but it won't be. It's kind of like closing your eyes, how you can control your eyes and close them. You can do that with your third eye, or you can control if you want to open your eyes. But sometimes when you get very, very sleepy, your eyes automatically close. If you notice, like you can't even hold your eyes up because your eyes are too heavy. Your third eye is like that as well, and that's why it's so hard to open because it's so much gravity and pull and weight in this matrix. It's so much what's called or murky. It's so murky, and that's why I'm going to get into the Merkaba. That's what I'm really talking about. But the ethers are so murky. Notice I use the term murky. I'm really stressing that these days. So the ethers are so murky that it causes you our third eye to automatically close and go to sleep. So let's get into understanding what does this have to do with the Merkaba. Now, the Merkaba is all of these things have to be activated or working properly. All of your chakras, even. Because many people talk about opening the third eye. What about your throat chakra? What about your heart chakra? What about your sacral chakra? What about your root chakra? What about your crown chakra? Have you been able to connect with your chakras through your hands, through your feet? See, these are all things that you need to understand about your body. This is your body before you can get into really seriously experiencing a Merkaba experience. And I don't talk about these things to sound radical or to sound like I'm just some mystic dude that's just living this life that nobody else can experience, because this stuff is rough. I have had all of these experiences that I'm speaking of, but I'm here to say that this stuff is rough. It's not something to be bragging about, really, but it's something that I myself took initiation as a Melchizedek to give information freely, not for free, but freely. Difference, based on free national standards, which is totally different. So I chose to give information based on free national standards, and I'll talk about that at another time. The difference between something just being free and free national standards, because people see you on YouTube and they're like, "Well, this is free and all of this," but that's a whole nother topic. But I chose to give this information, so and I made a pact with my ancestors. So that's why I do what I do, regardless to how what situation I'm in life. I have to continue to share this information because this is something that I made a pact to do. And until that some kind of way that lot is fulfilled, or until I move on to something else, this is what I will be doing. But so I'm not here to make up and say I'm making this stuff up or to sound deep or fancy, but I'm just going to get a little bit of information. I'm just really going to get a definition of Merkaba and give a better definition that I did on the last video. But I'm not going to go too deep into it. I just wanted it to be from a different perspective based on my maturity now and where I'm at. So the Merkaba this is a living field. And in this field, you literally, it's not just about you. So you have to have all these things function properly within you. But what makes the Merkaba is that this is when you connect, actually, when you really connect with the feminine energy that controls this world. There's a feminine energy that controls this world that's similar to God. Like when we talk about God, there's a feminine energy that's in this world that's similar to God or the God concept. And when I say similar, you may say, "What do you mean? This is another God?" It's kind of like another God, but the God that you think about usually is the God of the heavens, or the God of the solar system, or the God of up there, or the God that came from on high. Whereas when you talk about this feminine God or this Merkaba energy, this is coming from the center, or more so the source or the 0 point of this particular planet. So there's a feminine energy, and when you talk about activating the Merkaba, you're talking about not only functioning properly, but then connecting with this feminine energy. Very important. Connecting with this feminine energy and beginning to have a relationship and beginning to correspond or send correspondences back and forth with this particular feminine principle, and you begin to carry out initiations, rituals, and particular experiences that this feminine energy may want you to carry out. That's what the Merkaba feels. So you become a prophet or a middleman, and you're connecting with this feminine energy, and you yourself being in the middle. The feminine energy exists as unseen energy, even though I believe, is coming from a real being or a feminine being, but it's unseen energy at this point. It hasn't been manifested. And you're connecting with that energy as a middleman and as a prophet, and you're giving that energy to the world, or you're doing rituals in the world to shift the world or to make the world experience this feminine energy. And this is why it's called a field, or why I call it a field, because in order to have an active Merkaba, you have to have a Merkaba field, meaning that you have to have a field that you're working in via the Merkaba. So the Merkaba is very deep. I'm not going to go, I'll probably do a part two, because I know he just wanted me to give more information on what it was and how you can have experiences like from angels and stuff like that from having an active Merkaba. And I wanted to give that information as well, which I kind of went into earlier. But just to kind of go more so into that aspect of it, when the Merkaba is activated, you can have angels and different ancestors and people physically that come to you. And you would think this is a miracle, and they give you things to help you, and you won't know why. Like you may think like, I'm really down and out right now, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and then somebody may just roll up and just give you exactly what you're lacking, or what you're wanting, or what you're without, and they may give you that without you even asking anybody or anything. That's similar to the experiences and what your life will be like when you have an activated Merkaba, when you're working in the Merkaba field. So I go more into this, of course, in my consultations and also my classes and just any type of personal interaction with me. Of course, you guys know I go more into these topics, but I'm not going to go too much more into it here. I just wanted to reintroduce the topic, and what I'll probably do at some point, I don't know how quick it's going to come because I'm so busy, but I'm doing a ritual with these videos and it's been working actually. So I have to keep going, and I have some other topics I'm going to drop. I'm trying to get to a certain point so that I can go ahead and take off and start the offline aspect of the 13th sign astrology movement, which is what I'm working on. Where I want, to become more interactive with people physically, which I'm working on. So let's keep this moving. I'm going to go ahead and shut this particular topic down for right now. But if you have more questions or things of that nature, you want more information on it, I suggest you shoot me an email and we can set up an appointment to talk. I am speaking to people on Skype now, so just to let you guys know that. So I'm back active in the community. Things are moving with the movement. I thank you guys for supporting all those out there that have supported, and we're gonna keep these videos coming. So stay tuned for my next.